Alright, welcome back. This is Kermit the Streamer, getting another draft in. This is a human premier draft. So drafting against other players. We're always playing against human players. I don't want to be misleading here. It's just we're drafting against humans. These are, to me, these are the real drafts. Because the quick drafts are kind of like fake things. People get busted decks because the bot drafting just doesn't go very well. Harvester of Misery. All other creatures get -2/-2 when it comes into play. And it has Menace. Or I can discard it as a removal spell. That seems really good. Hellspur Posse Boss is good too. It makes 2 mercenaries when it comes into play. You can't go wrong with either of these 2 cards. Shoot the Sheriff is amazing. Back for More is a thing, but I'd rather take that card later. It's pretty easy here that we're going Harvester of Misery, though. Early on, it kills the thing. There's plenty of threats that a -2/-2 is good for. And now we're going to also be very actively looking for things that get things back from the graveyard. So any sort of recursion, getting to use a card like that more than once is going to be highly beneficial. It just doesn't always happen. So Crime and Punishment. Creature from an opponent's graveyard on a battlefield under your control. Prosperity. Punishment. So it's a wrath for a specific mana value. That's interesting. I think it is the pick here. Crime can be quite good, but I think punishment is the main reason you play this card. So that being the case, I want to make sure that I keep my eye open for green-white deserts, or black-green deserts, or white-black deserts. We very likely do want to have a green component to this deck, so I'm going to take Dance of the Tumbleweeds. And I prefer Dance of the Tumbleweeds over Map the Frontier. You almost never see Dance of the Tumbleweeds too. It gets snatched up. Buried in the Garden is a good pick here. Mirage Mesa is a good pick. Mourner Surprise, that's that reanimation spell we're talking about, but we can get this very late. So I think it's Mirage Mesa. That just gives us a little bit of extra versatility. It's the color that we need at the time that we need it, so I like it. And we are probably going with a base green deck. So the pick here is going to be any of these 3 cards: Freestrider Commando, Consuming Ashes, and Desperate Bloodseeker. The problem I see with this deck so far is that Freestrider Commando probably comes out as a 3/3, but I still think, that being the case, it's a good pick here. I like Ashes. It gets anything, and you generally have the time to get to 4 mana. I wouldn't fault anybody that picked Ashes over Commando here, but I think I'm going to go Commando. And I like going Commando, if you didn't know. This is great. Burrow Fiend is really good. Spinewood's Paladin is really good. Cactarantula is really good. We would be fine with another Dance of the Tumbleweeds. I think I actually go Spinewood's Paladin here. Yeah, so what we're really hoping for at this point, we're hoping for some recursion stuff. We're hoping for a hard Bristle Bandit, or anything that can serve as a mana accelerant. I'd even take the artifact one, the 2/2. Naturalist does that job as well. Corrupted Conviction does that job, but I don't know that I want to pay the price that I have to pay. I do like Back for More here, because if I had the odds of getting a Harvester of Misery or a Spinewood's Paladin, there's a good chance that we survive the fight. I can get another patient Naturalist, I think. So Back for More is our spell. Rambling Possum's really interesting, but I do think Spinewood's Paladin is the way to go. Although we are getting to the point here where we really need to start looking at getting some cheaper cards. We've got a very high curve just already. Reach for the Sky. I don't really want to have more than one of these in this deck. We do have access to white with this deck. Or we want to have access to white. I'm going to pop this over here though, just in case. It's not a card that I'm prioritizing getting in there, but I think if we do get enough ability to enable making white a thing, then that'll serve us well. We definitely don't really want to touch red. We'll do Pixie. This could be a nice way to like reset a commando that got played early. Could be a way for us to return our Harvester Misery and -2/-2 everything. That is one thing we got to pay attention to. We kind of want most of our forces here to have high backsides. So we want high toughness creatures. We want our games to go long, if we can make them go long. I like the Trailblazer here. Vault Plunder would be good. Stubborn Paracheat would be great. Mystical Tether's also great here. But we do want to minimize the amount of white. I like taking the Trailblazer here because I don't think any of these cards, the green or white cards that are left are necessarily high picks other than Tether. So we have a somewhat decent chance of, at bare minimum, at least getting the Varmint back. This is great. Caustic Bronco's nuts, though. I want to take the Gulch, but Caustic Bronco can be just absolutely insane. Good drug. Oh, yeah. This is not the kind of thing you're going to get more than probably one activation of. The only thing that sucks here is I'm passing a lot of really good cards. Shoot the Sheriff, Blood Hustler, and Forlorn Flats are equally good, I'd say. Maybe Blood Hustler might even be better. I think it is better, honestly. I wish I could take this. It's a good card. It's got haste. I mean, like, oh man, this is actually a really tough pick. If I had a Hard Bristle Bandit or one of those artifact mana guys, I would absolutely go get Drug Monster, but I think Blood Hustler's better here. Concealed Courtyard is pretty easily the pick. I like the Naturalist as well, but this just opens up our ability to cast the crime side of Crime and Punishment. And, you know, it might make these cards splashable. I'm still not set on those, though. Riker's Crew might be good. Free Strider Commando I'd be fine with. And I think if it's a pick between Free Strider Commando and Patient Naturalist, I do think Commando's the way to go. You can always cast this as a 3-drop. That's not necessarily ideal. I don't want to play this card, but I think it's the right one here, because we had several drafts with Rooftop Assassin last night, and it just doesn't do the thing you want it to do enough of the time. And this, certainly with this deck, if I had a deck that generated a lot of mercenaries, this gets a lot better. But I haven't had a lot of those, other than running some pretty subpar cards like at Knife Point. I just haven't had that happen very much. Nezumi Linkbreaker's interesting here. This would allow us to be able to use that white-black vampire guy. Or another commando. I think we're gonna go with the Linkbreaker. I don't like any of these picks, but I think Corrupted Conviction's the way to go. Oh, fantastic. This is what I was talking about. I got the Burrow Fiend back, so this is actually really, really big for our deck, hopefully. So we really do want to try to prioritize some sort of recursion effect. I'll take this because it's the only card in the pack for me. I'm not excited about the Boneyard Desecrator. I will take it, but I definitely want it to go to my sideboard if I can get something better. Humiliate. Sure. That's a card I only want to have one of, if at all possible. Yeah, okay. Not a corrupted conviction. What I like to see with a card like Reach for the Sky is a cheap flyer, a cheap lifelinker. That's what I'm looking for. So Tarnation Vista is pretty easily our pick here. It just gives us access to our colors. We're gonna get to cast those special spells, I think, now. Yeah, because we've got 3 sources of white here. We could even run Ariad, but she's a enchantment payoff, so she's just not really the thing you want to have. Creosote Heath is good here. Yeah, it's the pick for sure. I'd like the other Dance of the Tumbleweeds, but I think the base mana consistency, the free pick, is good. We're now up to 4 white sources, so we don't even necessarily have to run a single plains in this deck, and we should have access, reliable access, to our splash color, white. That is. Cactarantula, we've got 3 deserts, so it's coming in as a 5/5, or as a 5-drop rather. We've still got a lot of stuff on the high end, though. Marchesa. She's so good. Is she worth splashing? I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. No, those are 2 colors we don't have in our deck right now, so... Nope. Either Archway or Minor. I think it's going to be Minor. We don't have a ridiculous number of ways to commit crimes right now. But we have some. The Blood Hustler itself is just a crime engine. Outlaw's Merriment would be playable here. It's not what I think I want. I think I want Throw from the Saddle. Let's look at my creature count. 16. Yeah, we can take Throw from the Saddle there. You know, that our obvious targets for that are Spinewoods Paladin and Harvester of Misery. But we can, you know, any of our commandos that come into play. I think here we take up a shield. There's quite a bit of cuts. I think 3 cuts I have to make here. I like Thunder Lasso because it's repeated crimes. Like, you can, every time you attack, you get to target one of their things. But you have to be on the attack, and I think the way I want to play this deck is as a control deck, so that's what we're going for. Oh, wow. This deck feels good. I want the other Stubborn Burrow Fiend, but there's that Mortar Surprise that we were talking about wanting. Not excited about any of these. I don't even think I have the outlaw count to make this worthwhile. Well, those commandos are mercenaries. Assassins are outlaws. The knights aren't. I don't think Rakish Crew ends up making the cut. I'm not excited about getting another one of these. But I do think it's the pick here. And I really don't care about this buzzard. Hey, Daphne.
Hi.
nothing here. I can take this because I do have a deck that has... Oh, nice. You look like Minnie Mouse. Very cool. We do care a little bit about crimes, and it is in one of our colors. And some sets you wouldn't want to play the tap land just because, but we're getting something out of it. I really would have liked to have seen like maybe a Raven for this deck. Raven or two. So we're not playing these random white cards. I might even take up the shield here. It's just such a good card. Take up the shield and Snakeskin Veil are just both all-stars in this format. Rakish Crew, I don't think does enough for us in this deck. If we had any way to sacrifice these guys, which we do, they become a lot better. I'm going to make these cuts off camera, and then I'll show the end deck.